Street and stimulus. Wall Street is expected to crash on Monday amid concerns about what's happening in Europe. A week ago today, I told you that the number of COVID-19 cases in the United States exploded from 77,000 to 83,000 per day. At that time, a record number. That was before the announcements of lockdowns in France, Germany, and minutes ago, England. And with that, the concern about lockdowns coming to the United States. No lockdown stimulus in place, no second stimulus in place, no pandemic assistance in place, election uncertainty, and concerns about contested elections as well. Big concerns as Wall Street demands the Fed to settle stimulus and to have Congress do the stimulus right away. This is a bombshell episode of Street and Stimulus. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Street and Stimulus that focuses on the finances of stimulus and why Wall Street, the Federal Reserve, world economic markets, and everyone involved in the economy is pushing for your stimulus even louder than you. If you've not subscribed to become part of this community, please do go to the first channel, subscribe, because it's shows like this that you need to be on alert when they go live. This is the new hit show on LA8 every day at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Also, like this video. I've been able to predict to you a lot of what I expect with Wall Street and what I expect with stimulus, and now I can predict some more. Minutes ago, Boris Johnson, the PM, the Prime Minister of England, announced lockdowns. In this video, I'll be going over those lockdowns and why that will be causing Wall Street to crash on Monday. We do not yet see the Dow futures. We won't see those until tomorrow. That'll indicate us where Wall Street's going. Next, renewed lockdowns across Europe, Germany, France. Italy is on the cusp of announcing one as well. These all impact you financially because these are world markets. World markets impact trade and impact your abilities for stimulus. Then, the Federal Reserve. Wall Street is on high alert, urging the Federal Reserve to step in and do stimulus. Do stimulus because they haven't done it. It's amid news on Friday that the Federal Reserve came in and modified its Main Street lending program. Too little, too late. A program that literally a mere 400 people have gotten. What? They're asking for the Federal Reserve to step in as stagflation is growing. Finally, concerns about lockdown stimulus and the inability of Congress to prepare accordingly for it right now. All right, a lot of details, a lot of concerns, and this is the breaking news. The breaking news is that Wall Street is expected to go into turmoil next week as more concerns grow. Wall Street was expected to be volatile all the way to election night and shortly thereafter because of three issues: lack of second stimulus checks and stimulus package, election uncertainty, and concerns about growing COVID-19 cases, and finally, contested elections. But now Wall Street has a new problem. Actually, two new problems. One, the Federal Reserve and stagflation. And two, the issue of lockdown, stimulus, and concerns about lockdowns around Europe. Where we are today is breaking news out of England. Breaking news as Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced new lockdowns for his country. He said, we have to balance the scientific advice with the consequences of people's lives for people's mental health, people's livelihoods that come from lockdown measures. I'm not going to pretend to you that these judgments aren't incredibly difficult. We have to change with the changing pattern of the virus, and alas, we're seeing its pretty consistent surge. We have to deal with it. What's important to understand for your stimulus is that your stimulus is tied to the economy, and the economy is tied to everything that happens around the world. And if you see a lockdown in England, you see one in Germany, you see one in France, and you see one coming from Italy, ultimately that impacts this economy and impacts the ability to provide stimulus for you as well. World economies are all impacted universally. Moreover, they also are indicative of where our economy could be going. We could be going to lockdowns as well. Europe's surge of COVID-19 cases early this month and last month came before our surge, and now we're seeing our surge mirror theirs. 83,000 new cases Thursday, 73,000 cases a week ago, 90,000 cases yesterday, and expected 100,000 cases today. You see how it's moving up about 10,000 per day. It's that type of concern that Wall Street last week said, you know what, we're worried it's 73,000. Wall Street crashed. They said, wait a second, we can't deal with these COVID-19 cases because it's bad for the economy. There's no second stimulus in the economy provided by Congress, and we're not ready for it. At the time, as of last week, Wall Street had only one issue at the time to deal with for stimulus, which was no second stimulus and COVID-19 cases starting to rise, 70,000. Well, guess where we are tonight, or this afternoon? A week later, we've gone from 70,000 to 100,000, and now we have three of the major leading economies after ours that all impact us, and we trade and we conduct business with, England, France, Germany, all on lockdown. Okay, are we next? Then there's concern about no lockdown stimulus. Millions of Americans are wondering if states are going to start announcing lockdowns and that states don't have the money to pay for the lockdowns. They're going to turn to the federal government to look for lockdown stimulus for its citizens. And the members of Congress aren't even in session. Do they care about your lockdown stimulus? No. Have they written a lockdown stimulus bill? No. This is not going to sit well with Wall Street. Now, Wall Street has other issues from last week about your stimulus that still exist and aren't going away. One, presidential uncertainty. They're unsure who's going to win the presidency. And two, contested elections. They're very concerned about the uneasiness about not seeing who won the Senate, who dominates the Senate, who won the presidency on Wednesday morning and maybe Thursday. And the concern about people contesting the elections, which could go on for weeks. And this is not adding the additional concerns for second stimulus, which are coming out of Facebook. Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, in a third quarter earnings report with analysts Thursday, said that he is now preparing his company for warnings of civil unrest. Civil unrest amid election results. It's popping up everywhere. The story as well is on CNBC today. So as you sit here today and we're looking at streets and stimulus, the street is very vocal. But on Monday, it will be vocal like you have never seen Wall Street vocal for your stimulus. They are going to be very loud and very adamant about the following. One, you haven't given us stimulus for our citizens and for our businesses for what we have survived pre-lockdown, all the way from May to now. We need that. We need that. There's no stimulus in this economy. The economy is not going to continue to grow because there's nothing in this economy to keep it going. That's the first thing. Second, they're going to say, okay, we're concerned we're going to be the next England. And where is the stimulus for that? We can't have businesses go under, because businesses that go under lay off employees, and employees that are laid off are not getting enhanced unemployment benefits. There is no enhanced unemployment benefits. There's no law for it yet. It hasn't been written in the second stimulus. It hasn't been passed. We can't have people stay at home and not pay rent, because then the properties will go into foreclosure and the banks will take them and the banks will go under. And so what they're saying is, wait a second, this is just growing because Congress is doing nothing. We need second stimulus to cover what happened up to now. And then if we're facing lockdowns in a couple of weeks, we need to have stimulus ready for that as well. You can't just expect all these businesses to go under and that all of America is left with a couple of big business giants like Walmart, Amazon, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, and Zoom. They're able to survive the pandemic and actually do better during the pandemic than before, and that everything else is sort of gone. You can't have that, because the gross national product of the country will evaporate. This last week, Wall Street, ironically, in a strange twist, talked about your stimulus by saying, okay, here's some really great data that came in this week, and that shows how stimulus works. But it also shows if you don't have stimulus, we're going back where we came from, and it could be worse. The first number was the GDP number. This shows how big the economy was. And Wall Street on Tuesday saw that number and said, oh, wow, this is really good. The gross national product, how big the economy is, shrunk 30% when the pandemic hit because of lockdowns. We went on lockdowns. The economy shrunk because there was very little being done. Then stimulus floated out. We reopened. The rebound was bigger than the contraction. It grew at about 34%. So they said, hey, this is an example of how stimulus worked. We not only got back to normal, we were better than back to normal. We were back to normal and a little bit better. That's incredible, great news. But then they said, okay, wait a second. We don't expect this situation to continue. We expect it to be bad in a few weeks. So where's the stimulus to prevent us from contracting again? Hasn't been written. Then it looked at the unemployment numbers, which a lot of the viewers of this channel are so good. I mean, they're so up to date and informed now. When the unemployment number came out on Thursday morning at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, it was the best number since the pandemic started. The lowest number of new jobless claims since this pandemic started since March 15th. It was low 700,000. It dropped 40,000. It was the best number since pre-pandemic, which was about 200,000, 250. Well, what did Wall Street say? It said, hold up, hold up. You can see that new number go through the roof if we have new lockdowns, because everyone's going to be unemployed. And then other people said, well, that number does not compensate for people who switch from UI because they ran out a number of weeks and going over to PUA. There's a twist there. The number of unemployment UI weeks that you have are running out. The number of PUA weeks, which is 30-something weeks, is about to run out soon. And so a lot of these metrics, like the new jobless claims every Thursday, don't match up with what's going on because people can't put in claims anymore because the people are already on claims and that the tracking is only tracking new claims. A lot of twists and a lot of concerns. When you look at Wall Street next week, what will they do? They're going to be loud and vocal about your stimulus, and then they're going to be with Congress, and they're going to be loud and vocal about federal stimulus, Federal Reserve stimulus. What is that? Well, Wall Street on Friday was very vocal in saying the Federal Reserve has done little to nothing to help this pandemic. And absolutely, in a bold statement, I was so applauding of those remarks because I have been deeply critical of Jerome Powell since March. In March, Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve, which has the inherent authority to do things for stimulus, took out a certain amount of money or repositioned a certain amount of money in the Federal Reserve specifically for COVID-19 relief. You know how much money of that money has been sent out? Next to nothing. He designed a program called the Main Street Lending Program, which was a flop because the deal provisions were onerous, were horrible. And on Friday, he announced a revision so that you can get into it and get $100,000. Okay, now you're doing it in November? We've been telling you it's been bad since March. What's incredible great news is that you can go get it. My EIDL viewers need it. My PPP viewers need it. But they needed it in March. I mean, this is November. When did the wake-up call hit you that it was a bad provision as written? But then there's more than that. Your milk, your eggs, your groceries, your bread. If you go into the market and you're looking at like, when did milk go up 50 cents? When did eggs go up 60 cents? When did my lettuce go up $1? That's what's called inflation. When prices go up, it's called inflation. Well, what's going on with the economy? It's flat. It's stagnant. It's called stagflation. A stagnant economy with prices going up. It's called stagflation. Stagflation is dangerous. Stagflation causes a Great Depression. There's no dispute about it. I'm not giving you an opinion. That's actually a economic model. Jerome Powell is also under fire for that as well, because several weeks ago he said, I like a little bit of inflation. We have to have a little bit of inflation. Our economy is growing too much. We have to have some inflation. And, the stimulus is working. I want some more stimulus, but we have to have some inflation. Now Wall Street's saying, no. The economy is flat. Economy is either flat or contracting, and the prices are going through the roof. This is dangerous. You need to step in and stop this price gouging, this price inflation, and make sure the economy starts to move up, because this economy ain't moving up. And with that, Wall Street is pushing for stimulus by act of Congress. Wall Street is pushing for stimulus by act of the Federal Reserve. You're pushing for stimulus, and that push is focusing on the congressional leaders to get the stimulus done as well. Let me go over some of the incredible questions and comments from yesterday, and they were good. Trina, God is great. With him, anything is possible. JS, pray for all struggling Americans. Aaliyah, do executive orders. You can do it. You really care, do it. Elliot, incredible and criminal that this is happening in America. Summer days, Biden wants to lock us down without stimulus. He's a corrupt clown. Eagles can fly. All this is a bunch of hogwash. Everyone's playing politics. Dean Powell, good evening to the Purple Power community. Amparo, good afternoon, Purple Power family. We're never giving up. Dolores, well, it's believed it's all in God's hands. David Silanoff, day by day, more families tank out. Lynn Glenn, I'm glad the Federal Reserve is stepping in now. Maybe we get stimulus checks now. Kurt Kohlani. I don't particularly like either candidate, so I'm voting for the way I think I will get my stimulus check the quickest because I'm in desperate need of it. Downcastle, inflation didn't just creep up, it exploded. Me, myself, it's stupid to refer to lockdowns as though they're warranted or legitimate. They're tyrannical ploys. It's political fear-mongering. If you have questions in today's video, drop them in the comments below, and I might feature them in tomorrow's recording. I really appreciate your comments, and I really appreciate you for tuning in for Steve and Stimulus and making it a lot of fun. Also, go to the Friends channel, subscribe because we're going to get through this together, and we're going to solve all this together. Meantime, like this video. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay with Ally for more.